Last year I took a look at the SwitchBot Meter Pro CO2 sensor and I ended up really liking it for a various number of reasons. You can go and watch the video, I'll have it linked in the description. In that video I talked about TVOCs and PM 2.5 particles and how those are usually what is referenced when talking about indoor air quality. PM 2.5 stands for particulate matter with a diameter of 2.5 microns or smaller. And while the SwitchBot Meter Pro isn't able to measure those, the new air purifying table from SwitchBot is. But besides measuring and purifying the air for airborne particles, the air purifier table is also a table, a mood light, and a Qi wireless charger. For the past couple of weeks, I have tested the air purifier tables and I do have some thoughts on it. So let's have a look at the device together and see whether or not this is something that is worth getting. First, a quick disclaimer though. SwitchBot did send me their air purifying table for review, but they haven't seen the video in advance and all of the opinions in the video are my own. When you receive the table, it does require some assembling. More precisely, you'll have to attach the table to the base of the air purifier, connecting it with a small cable. It can be a bit tricky to connect the wire since the cable is so short, but it's not too bad. After connecting the cable, it has to be secured with 2 screws. SwitchBot has been nice enough to include a screwdriver in the box, even though the screws are just regular Phillips screws that you probably already have a screwdriver for anyways. But still, it's nice to have. After that, you simply install the air filters. Plug in the power plug on the back, and you're ready to purify the air. If you're not interested in any smart home features at all, this is really all you need to do to start using the device. SwitchBot doesn't require you to connect it to the app if you don't want to. Before we take a look at the air filtering capabilities of this air purifier, let's have a quick look at the actual hardware. On the front of the air purifier, SwitchBot has included 5 buttons. There's a button for locking the other buttons, which you toggle by holding down for 5 seconds. A button for controlling the strength of the airflow. You can toggle between 3 levels here. An on-off button. A button for controlling different modes, and we'll get into those later. And lastly, a button for setting a timer. It's really nice to see physical buttons on appliances like this. I don't always want to use my phone or use my voice to control my devices. So having buttons on the front means that I don't need to get my phone out or I need to speak to my speakers to control this air purifier. If we turn our attention to the table part of the air purifier, you'll notice a small rubber ring on the right side of the table. This rubber ring indicates the wireless charging spot. The air purifier supports the Qi wireless charging standard. The Qi wireless charging standard is what almost all wirelessly charging devices use, except for watches. So it doesn't matter if you have an iPhone or an Android or even a Kindle, the Qi wireless charging standard is what those devices are using. It would have been nice to see Qi 2 on this device. I don't think it's too big of a problem having to rely on the first generation of Qi. Every Qi 2 device is backwards compatible, so it doesn't really matter if your device is Qi 1 or Qi 2 compatible. It should be compatible with this table, no matter what generation of Qi you use. The wirelessly charging spot supports up to 15 watts if you're using an Android phone and up to 7.5 watts if you're using an iPhone. The limitation on iPhones are due to iOS and not really something that SwitchBot can do anything about. So it's not a fault of the wirelessly charging spot itself, but more a fault of Apple. Having an extra Qi wirelessly charging spot has been really great, and I've been using it a lot more than I thought I would. I've been able to just leave my earphones, my phone, or my Kindle on the charging spot and just have them charged during the day. The rubber ring on the table is non-removable, so you'll have to live with it even if you don't plan on using the wirelessly charging capabilities of this air purifier. If you don't plan on using it as a wirelessly charger, you can easily turn off the wirelessly charging spot within the settings of the app. SwitchBot has opted for a wooden pattern on the table and a white base. And they don't offer any other patterns or any other colors for the base. So what you see is really what you get. The wooden pattern on the table is really convincing, even though it's not real wood, but just plastic. I really do think that the wooden pattern and the white color of the base makes this air purifier fit into most homes. SwitchBot specifically warns you against putting liquids on the table due to the dangers of spilling liquids into the electronics of the air purifier. But in their marketing material, they specifically show this air purifier being used as a coffee table. I think I'm gonna risk it and periodically put my coffee mug on it. But even if I do spill liquids on the table, the edges are raised so the liquids pool instead of spill into the electronics. Nice touch, SwitchBot. When opening the bag, you'll find the filtration system. And it turns off automatically whenever you remove the back panel. Okay, I didn't know that, but okay. Good thinking there, SwitchBot. The air purifier uses a 3-layer filtration system. The first layer is the pre-filtration layer. This layer helps catch bigger particles such as hair or fur that is in the air. The second filter is a HEPA filter. HEPA is a standard, meaning that this filter has been tested and approved to be allowed to bear the name HEPA. This layer catches smaller particles and allergens. So all of the particles that got through the first layer will hopefully be caught in this second layer. The last layer is a carbon filter. This filter uses absorption, that is bonding molecules to carbon, in order to remove odors and gas and other nasty molecules from the air. The first pre-filtration layer can just be vacuumed whenever it has caught a lot of particles. SwitchBot recommends that you vacuum this every other week or so, but it depends on a lot of factors, such as the size of the room that it's in or whether or not you have any pets. The HEPA and the carbon filter though, those can't be cleaned. You'll have to buy new filters whenever they've been used for an extended period of time. But this is the case with almost, if not all, air purifiers. So there's really nothing special about having to replace the filters regularly. New filters will set you back about $45 or 45 euros. If you have the air purifier running every single day, you'll have to change the filters once about every year or so. You can see in the app when you'll have to change the filters. Having a table on top of the air purifier also helps with displacing the air. Unclean air is pulled in from the front and from the back, and then is pushed out, now clean hopefully, through the top. So instead of just being pushed out from the top and then recirculating into the air purifier, the angle of the table hopefully helps with pushing the air out into the room, meaning that the clean air will be scattered around the room instead of just circulating around the air purifier. So, who is this air purifier really meant for? SwitchBot is very heavily pushing this air purifier for pet owners. They claim that it's capable of removing 93.45% of fur and hair from the air. Now, I don't have any pets, so I don't know how effective this is at removing cat or dog fur from the air. But what I can say is that the amount of air that this is able to move is pretty impressive. We'll come back to the airflow in just a moment. But other than removing hair from the air, SwitchBot is also positioning this air purifier as a great way of removing odor from the air if you are, for example, cooking in a small area. While I don't have any pets, I do cook. And it has been really nice having this air purifier clean the air after having dinner. I've been using it on a maximum power level after having cooked, and it does remove odors very quickly and way quicker than just opening a window. So obviously this is an air purifier first and foremost, but SwitchBot is taking the IKEA route and combining several products into one. And I am all in for that. Instead of having a big appliance that only purifies air, why not maximize the use of space that it takes up? I feel like that's the philosophy here. So SwitchBot knows that this takes up a lot of space. So instead of having it do just one thing, it does 4 things. What I haven't mentioned yet though is the scented oil compartment. If I could find it. The idea here is that you soak this sponge with scented oils so that the air purifier can disperse the scent into the room whenever it's in use. I gotta be honest here, I didn't try this. Firstly, I don't have any scented oils around. I didn't really feel like buying scented oils just for this review. And secondly, SwitchBot themselves says that using scented oils can lower the effectiveness of the purifying capabilities. I'm guessing here that SwitchBot says this because the molecules from the scented oils can be bonded to the coal in the 3rd layer, making the 3rd coal layer less effective at bonding other molecules from the air. What I do want to use though is the included mood light. The entire bottom of the table is one big RGB color light. The color light isn't meant to light up the entire room. It's meant to be an ambient light. And I have really been happy using this as an ambient light in my living room. Using the app, you can change both the color and the brightness of the mood light. You can also set the mood light to automatically turn off whenever the room goes dark. You can also have the light correspond to the air quality at the moment. You're not able to set these colors within the app. So whatever colors SwitchBot has set up to correspond to the current air quality is what you get. But even though I do really like this as a mood light, I do feel like there's some big features missing. Firstly, you're not able to turn on the mood light without also turning on the air purifier within it. So every time the mood light is turned on, the motor inside of it is also turned on. On the lowest setting, the air purifier is extremely silent, so the noise isn't really a problem. I just feel like this is a weird choice by SwitchBot. You're also only able to pick between 10 predefined colors. You're not able to pick a specific color or a specific color temperature, meaning that whatever colors SwitchBot has chosen in the app are all the colors that you'll ever get from this table. The same thing is also true about brightness. You can choose between bright, moderate, or soft. So you might feel like the bright is too bright and the moderate is too dark. And if that's the case, then you are out of luck. You're not able to adjust the brightness to be somewhere in between. I can't help but feel like these are missed opportunities from SwitchBot. It would have been really nice to use this table as a wake-up light, but only having 10 predefined colors and only having 3 levels of brightness means that if SwitchBot did include a wake-up feature inside of the app, the light would either be too dark or too bright to probably wake me up. Also, looking at the app, you'll have to dig into the settings to control this light at all. Why SwitchBot? The mood light is such a big part of the marketing of this table that it doesn't really make sense that I have to go into the settings and then a submenu to adjust this light. Why not just have controls for the light on the front page of the app? So besides being able to turn on and off the air purifier, I would also be able to turn on and off the light. I really don't get it, and this is something that I really want to be addressed in a future software update, because I like this mood light a lot and I would like to be able to change it more easily than I'm currently able to do. After having tested the air purifier for a few weeks now, I can honestly say that I do feel like there are a lot less particles and stuff in the air and on surfaces that I have to clean regularly. Whenever I've been cooking, I have been running this on maximum both during and after cooking, and it really has done wonders in regards to the smell. And by using the app's built-in timer function, it's been really nice getting home from work to an apartment where the air purifier has been running for an hour or so. When using the air purifier, I've either been using it on the maximum or the auto mode. I rarely use any of the other settings. The lowest setting is called sleep. And when sleep is activated, the air purifier is so extremely quiet. I'm usually a pretty light sleeper, but I would have no problems sleeping with this thing right next to my bed on sleep mode. The highest setting, on the other hand, is so powerful that I can feel the air moving even when I cross the room. Measuring it with an anemometer shows just how much air is really being displaced. I usually use the air purifier on auto mode though. On auto mode, it automatically adjusts the speed depending on the quality of the air. You can always see the air quality if you open the SwitchBot app. It is worth noting, however, that the air quality sensor is only measuring the air quality whenever the air purifier is on. This is because the air quality sensor needs to have air moved across it to be able to tell the air quality. It's not really surprising since that's just how air quality sensors work, but it's worth noting if you're buying the air purifier for the air quality sensor. But do you really want to open the SwitchBot app every time you want to see the quality of the air? Well, you don't really have to use the SwitchBot app because a recent update to the table made it native Matter compatible. That's right, this air purifier supports Matter over Wi-Fi. And you don't even need one of SwitchBot's hubs to be able to expose this via Matter. I think this is really great, and it just shows that SwitchBot is really committed to the Matter standard. You'll find the Matter setup within the settings of the purifier in the SwitchBot app. Just be sure that you're on 2.4 GHz Wi-Fi since it doesn't support 5 GHz or 6 GHz Wi-Fi. The air purifier exposes both the speed level and the air quality sensor to third-party Matter smart homes. Awesome! But I have found that SmartThings for some reason doesn't expose the speed levels, only the air quality sensor. It's weird, but I think this is more a quirk of SmartThings than it is a quirk of SwitchBot. But maybe this SmartThings quirk doesn't really matter because even in HomeKit or Home Assistant, I'm not really able to control the speed of the air purifier anyways. The levels shows up correctly in both HomeKit and Home Assistant, but I'm not able to change between them. Whenever I select one of the levels in, for example, Home Assistant, the air purifier doesn't react. I can only change between the auto mode and the third level, but I have to turn off and on the air purifier within the app for that change to take effect. I really hope that this is something that is fixed in a future firmware update, because not being able to control the levels within Matter is really weird. I can turn on and off the device just perfectly without any problems. It is worth noting though that the Matter integration is still in beta, so I can't blame SwitchBot too much yet. One thing I would also like to see is the exposure of the mood light to Matter. Yeah, that's right, the mood light isn't exposed via Matter either. Even when connected via Matter to Home Assistant or some other third-party smart home app, you still need to dig through the SwitchBot app settings to be able to change the settings of the mood light. Again, SwitchBot, please put more emphasis on the mood light and have it exposed via Matter, please. One thing that is exposed correctly though is the ability to turn on and off the device and the air quality sensor. Both of those works flawlessly, and I haven't really encountered any problems with both of those features within Matter. So where does this leave us with the air purifier from SwitchBot? Even with the flaws of the air purifier, I've ended up actually really liking it. When I first got it, I really wasn't sure whether or not I would keep this after I finished the review. Not because I didn't think it would work or didn't purify the air, but because it was so big and took up so much space in my apartment. But after a couple of weeks, I've come to the conclusion that it's not just useful, but actually adds functionality to my space. In my bedroom, I've been using this cheap IKEA air purifier for a couple of years now. It's small, it's quiet, and the filters are really easy to get since I live pretty close to an IKEA. But after having had the air purifier from SwitchBot in my living room for a couple of weeks now, I think I might actually get a second one for my bedroom to replace the IKEA purifier. See, SwitchBot sells two versions of their air purifier table. I got the bigger one with the biggest table surface and a wireless charger, but they also sell a slightly smaller air purifier. The body and filters on the smaller air purifier table are the same. The only difference is the table being smaller and not including a wireless charger, but still keeping the mood light. And this smaller model is what I think I'm going to get for my bedroom. So even if the app is kinda janky and the Matter integration isn't fully developed just yet, as an air purifier and a mood light, I really think that this does a really good job. Currently you can get the big air purifier table for around 300 euros or $300 on SwitchBot's own website, while the slightly smaller model will set you back about $240 or 240 euros on their own website. But that was everything for now. So did I miss anything or do you have any questions? Please ask away in the comments or send me a message. Thank you for watching and I'll see you in the next video.